Audio track mixer and submix track. So, what is audio track mixer? Audio track mixer is a panel that is located in the source window. You shouldn't confuse it with audio clip mixer. If it's not displayed by default, then we'll go to the top of a Premiere in Windows Audio Track Mixer and we'll turn on the checkbox. Basically, these two panels are similar, but with one big difference. The sound of each clip is displayed separately in Clip Mixer. For example, there are a clip on a track 1 and a clip on a track 2. We can adjust the sound of each one by using the slider. And we do almost the same thing in Track Mixer, but we adjust the track keyframes as a whole. But the main thing that is here is hidden in a small checkbox. It's Show Hide Effects and Sends. If we enable it, the Track Effects panel will appear, so we can apply some effects entirely to the entire track. Let's imagine that we have a lot of media on the timeline panel, music, voice, etc. That is, each track the entire sound of the project. For example, the first 4 audio tracks adds up to a master on the last low track, on which you cannot put anything. There is another kind of track that we can create. To do this, we need to right-click on the free area near the master and select Edit Tracks. These are the so-called submix tracks. Here we can create video tracks, audio tracks, and submix tracks. What are submix tracks? For example, let's create one submix track. We set the values to 0 of the audio and video tracks. It took a separate track with the name Submix and no clip can be placed on it, but you can sum up the audio streams in it. Let's say we have several audio tracks that have several voices spread out on them. For example, there are women's voices on one track and men voices on another. We can apply a single sound processing to them, not on each clip, but entirely on the track. For example, if we go to the Audio Track Mixer panel, open a special panel with a checkbox and click on Effect Selection, we will see all the existing audio effects that we can apply to the entire track. So, we choose the pitch shifter effect and apply it to the selected audio file by right-clicking on the effect that we created on the panel. A window will appear where we can configure the effect. For example, let's lower pitch transpose semitones by -6. This is one of the effects that we can apply to a track, and there are a lot of such effects.
Right, I think all of us were sitting on the launch pad for a couple.
Flowers getting ready to go, preparing mentally and somewhat physically as well, and then when
Let's consider another special effect. It's vocal enhancer. This effect has a difference in male and female voices. It makes the voice more voluminous, depending on the frequency that the person speaks. So, we come back to the Audio Track Mixer panel. The feature is that here we can choose the track output assignment for output location of the effect. By default, all tracks are applied to master like Submix. But we can put individual voices. For example, we put the first 2 tracks in the submix, and the submix is already in the master. This is necessary to make us apply some general processing to the voices on submix without affecting music or noise tracks. That is, if we want to process only voice tracks, we will sum them up in submix and apply processing to submix. Then it goes to master, and the music remains unprocessed. Sometimes there are cases when you may be asked to bring the voice tracks to the left side and all the other noise sounds music to the right. It's connected with processing TV scenes, where you are asked not to reduce the sound, but to process the voices separately from the music. In this case, you need to create 2 submix and display one in the left track and display the second in the right one by using the tool in the form of a circle with a slider. We can rename each track in the Audio Track Mixer panel. For example, we will give the first submix the name Voice and the second submix the name Other. We will make an output to the first 2 tracks to the created submix that is called voice, and the output to the third and fourth tracks to other. So we can simply bring the voices to the left at the final and other tracks to the right without laying out on the left-right side on the editing. They will be decomposed and everything that was on the first two tracks will be decomposed into the left channel, and the next two tracks will be decomposed into the right channel. It helps to optimize our work if you have a lot of projects, then knowing these internal features will help you. Moreover, the audio track mixer panel has existed since the first versions and hasn't been much improved. Over time, this tool fades into the background, although it's a very powerful thing that I always use. For example, here we can do the final sound processing. There is the final compressor that will compress the sound a little bit and make it denser. So, it's possible to put it directly on this final track without using third-party applications. We can choose a multi-band compressor with classical master processing and adjust the sliders in order to correspond to technical requirements. Finally, we get a compressed master track at the output, where the sound will be denser and more voluminous. This is a very useful panel that you should definitely know and use. Next, we will talk about new approaches to sound in Premiere.